Welcome to Fight Night Hearthstone Edition, featuring the top 8 players around the world. With $10,000 in prize money and regional pride on the line, who will go home the Hearthstone champion? This is Fight Night! Welcome back, everybody, to another evening of Fight Night here at ESGN TV. After an exciting first run of Hearthstone, other team No Name Yet has taken the series 3-1 over Team DogeHouse. But wait, there's more. Here at Fight Night, we play all 5 matches through, and therefore we're giving both teams an opportunity to win some bonus cash. As we get ready set up, let's take a look at how we got here. Alright, so the way that the bonus round is going to go is that the team captains of both teams are going to choose a mystery player to play for the round. Artosis and Monk, please join me in front of the stage. Alright, so the first question, Monk, how do you feel going into this ace match? You guys won 3-1, you must be feeling really confident.
Yeah, of course we did win 3-1, so I would say we might have an advantage over the other team. And I thought in some rounds we did it fairly convincingly. So even against their best players, we are very confident.
Also, it doesn't matter who they send out, you feel like you're going to win.
We feel like definitely we're going to win.
All right, strong words. Now, Dan, I want to ask you, is this about the pride or is it about the money, maybe even both?
Well, this is about the pride, absolutely. The money, it doesn't matter here. We don't want to go down 4-1.
All right, so with that said, it's time to reveal the aces.
Gnimsh, he is really tried and tested. He's the oldest player on the team along with me. We're both 30 years old, but he actually has the most tournament wins out of, I think, anyone in Hearthstone so far. Every day he's playing and entering every tournament he possibly can, and he's very, very consistent, a very good player, but plays differently than everyone else on the team.
Obviously, Hearthstone is good to watch, and I'm playing a lot and I'm watching Hearthstone a lot as well. Before I got a better key, I was watching Hearthstone a lot. Like I was watching Trump and Krip and whoever had the key at the time. I think like Blizzard did a very good job with the game because it's really easy to get into, to understand, but hard to master. So people watch it because they understand what's going on and they want to learn. And the better players, they have those awesome plays, they have this analytical approach and strategies. So it's interesting to watch because you want to learn.
I feel very confident for my team overall.
I feel super confident right now.
I feel pretty confident. My favorite class in Hearthstone is actually a bit controversial for me because my favorite class in Warcraft is Warlock because I was playing Warlock in the online game and in WoW TCG also I had a great success with the Warlock class. But in Hearthstone right now, my favorite class is Mage because Mage is the most flexible class which has a lot of different approaches to the deck structure and also a lot of fun cards to play. So definitely Mage is my favorite class in Hearthstone right now.
And the best moments are when you know you got the win. You just know you've won the game and there's no way he can come back. Those are the best moments.
I think the most frustrating moments in Hearthstone are when you constantly get RNG, bad RNG in your face. So RNG is tolerable, but most of the time you just think that RNG is 50%. So like when you play a card that does an effect which has like 50% to do something, 50% to do something else. If I would be the card put in the game, well, Leopard Gnimsh is a representation of myself probably. But yeah, if I would think about something, I'd probably be like 5-6 mana, and I'm an aggressive player, so I think for let's say 6 mana, 7 attack. This is a bit overpowered, but 7 attack, charge, 2 health, like a bit better than Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins!
Obviously we'll win. I just can't say if we will do a flawless victory or if we stumble a bit, but that's my prediction for sure.
5-0 or 4-0. We will win every series, for sure.
I feel pretty confident as far as my own matches go.
StrifeCro seems to be the strongest opponent because he has a lot of constructed experience.
My favorite class would be the mage. Right now, everyone thinks that mage is imbalanced. I mean, I agree with that right now. But mage has always been one of my favorite classes. The reason why it is my favorite class is because I feel like mage has a very good tool set for playing like a very calculated control game. That's like the kind of style I prefer playing. And mage has, you know, freezes, area effect, you know, stuff like drawl. So I think mage has the most tools to play the type of game I want.
I think one of the frustrating moments is playing against the control mage, when the mage is freezing everything. But I got used to that because I'm an aggro player, so I play mostly aggressive decks, and my friends all are more or less control-ish players. So I used to play mages against mages.
I don't actually know the differences in playstyle between any of them.
Yeah, I think StrifeCro is by far the best player. Gnimsh is the guy who always performs really well in tournaments.
I would say me and Monk are probably the better players in our team.
So I cannot say much about StrifeCro and Monk. I didn't care about them actually.
StrifeCro is actually a former StarCraft 2 pro gamer. And I think, in my opinion, he is the best player on the team by a decent margin. I think that he makes some of their best decks. He looks at the game differently than a lot of players. And I think that he's going to be the biggest force to be reckoned with on the entire team.
So I think like StrifeCro might be the ace of the team right now.
My prediction is that I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win. The food here is great. Like, I don't know what anything is called. Like, I just eat it, you know. Like, I order it, or maybe someone gives it to me and I eat it. Like, but they're all like everything I've had here is good. Yeah. I've noticed that like there's meat everywhere. Like, everywhere I walk down the street, it's like meat. So I guess Germans like that. Yeah, beer. Oh yeah. Every time we order beer here in Germany, you know, in America you get like a small mug, but in Germany it's like these huge mugs every time you order beer. It's cool, I like it.
Mage.
Those are all the control decks.
And what was the last one? Pally?
Pally.
You want to avoid Pally versus Druid on your end. I think that's it.
Me playing which one?
You playing Druid against the Pally.
Where am I? Like, am I here? You're here. I'm here. Okay. Open this and see how far I can go.
They don't have a super
Just put a
aggro.
check mark.
Yeah.
So,
Bam.
so this is what percentage?
Just put a check mark.
Whatever.
Good enough.
Mage versus
Put an X
Pally.
there.
You don't want that. This is like 50.
This is actually the best
or-
one.
Yeah.
Is this right?
Gnimsh, just say that's 50.
Yep.
Druid versus Mage.
Maybe I should start this. Yeah, I think I should start this. Because here, if he takes this,
That should be really good.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
check.
right.
Because I'm
That's good.
I like that.
Druid versus Warlock. Check.
check and there's this and this.
No, the Pally is like healing shit, I think.
This is
This.
This one can do it. So it seems like you're on the. Wait. Yeah.
Start Druid or Paladin. Okay.
I think you can start. Well, actually, looking at them, they're gonna start this then. From there.
Yeah, exactly.
One of these two?
No, these two.
Oh, those two.
They're not gonna start this. They're gonna start either this or this,
Yeah.
and then you start this because you beat both of those.
You start this one?
This one, yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
'cause they're gonna choose
sure,
from these.
sure.
Okay. Okay. Say you start this and you lose to this.
Mhm.
Okay. You lose to this, and then you'll
doesn't have that much healing. You can beat it with mage, I think.
yeah.
The thing is, I can do anything.
This is supposed to
Welcome to the desk. I'm joined by Ekop, a member of Team DogeHouse. How you doing, man?
I'm pretty devastated that we actually lost 3-1, but this is an important match.
All right, so the last game has started between StrifeCro as well as Gnimsh. It's a best-of-5 series, starting off with Druid versus Mage. Now, we've seen this kind of matchup, or these two classes matchup before. What's your opinion on this matchup?
On this matchup, I would say Mage, the version that we are playing, should have the upper hand if the Antonidas gets protected very well. Then you just have an infinite flow of fireballs to smash into his face, so all the healing won't matter at all. However, you have to like get the Antonidas first.
Hello.
Oh no, it's actually the... I totally forgot, it's not the Giants deck.
No, it seems to be more of a creature-heavy deck. I mean, you have the Mana Worm to start
yeah,
off.
I was confused there, sorry about that. Yeah, anyway.
Wow, StrifeCro immediately muting Gnimsh. Gnimsh is the guy who tosses out a lot of these emotes.
My magic will
Yeah,
tear
of course,
you
like
apart.
against Trump, Gnimsh definitely spammed those emotes, and Trump didn't bother, I guess. So yeah, in this matchup, I was confused at the first, but yeah, Gnimsh has to basically deal some early damage with his minions and then burn him out with fireballs and power blast eventually.
The light protects
Hope we get there.
Yeah, it depends whether or not he can establish enough damage early on, but we do know that StrifeCro has things like a healing touch, like the Ancient of Lords to restore a little bit of that HP, as we saw in this previous series. All right, so the first one, we have a Novice Engineer and a Sun Fury Protector that StrifeCro could drop out. And in this case, he's going to go for the Sun Fury Protector and force that Ancient Watcher to absorb a lot of damage.
Yeah, like this is a huge roadblock in the way of Gnimsh. Let's see how he deals with it. The right play would probably be just, like, I don't know, Frost... there are plenty of options here. He could Frostbolt the Ancient Watcher and run his Mana Worm into it, but it would be a 2-for-1 in favor of StrifeCro.
You know, I have to kind of ask, as we have a moment here for Gnimsh's third turn to take place. Did you guys pick Gnimsh because you feel really confident in his skills, or is it maybe the decks that he chose you feel like would be overall strong against whatever they have? What was some of the rationale picking him?
Oh, he's definitely the luckiest player in our team, that's for sure. And also the fact that he won, he was the only one winning
so
yesterday.
He's a good mindset.
So yeah, he might be in a better mindset than us, than the rest of us.
Ooh, look at this, double Innervate, nothing really to drop a 7 mana card, but still has the option to put out a Sylvanas early if he wanted to. But StrifeCro is a player that doesn't necessarily abide by things just because it's an easy play and it's obvious. Sometimes he does things pretty around the block. Like yesterday, a couple times, Monk was saying like, "Oh, I think maybe he should go for this. Like maybe save the Argus and go for hero power and use it sometime else." But then he's like, "Yeah, I'll just drop an Argus. There's nothing on the board."
The interesting thing about StrifeCro is when he's thinking about his options, he always talks to himself, which like I actually think that's a very good method to I work with kids. I work with kids in like school and kindergarten.
Yeah.
So kids usually verbalize their actions, so
they verbalize everything.
So they have a better understanding of what they are doing. So maybe StrifeCro is just like that. Who knows?
I'm imagining you working with kids. They're like, "Your beard is red." It's like, "Thank you."
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We have another Novice Engineer play set up here from StrifeCro. See what he draws from it. And having those double Innervates, he can get out next turn Ysera on turn 5.
Well, it's certainly a possibility. Like
if he wanted to.
Gnimsh definitely will have a hard time dealing with this because he has no polymorph or any hard removal in his deck.
And he hasn't shown polymorph through any of his series, and he did play 3 games with his mages in regard to that. So let's see what Gnimsh is going to be able to do on his turn 5, because pretty soon it's going to start getting really tricky. He hasn't really done anything in the first 5 turns. It's 28 health to 30. That's a pretty good position. And look at this, Gnimsh is throwing out that Argus with nothing on the board.
Yeah, Gnimsh is definitely in a tough spot here. I mean, there's always the risk that this happens when you play like buff minions, like Defender of Argus and Dark Iron Dwarf. Those always will get stuck up in your hand eventually in some games, but usually it shouldn't happen. In this game though, like StrifeCro was dealing with this place. pretty well, and yeah.
There we go, the double innervate into the Ysera, the first dream card. Comes down into Ysera Awakens, an extremely powerful card.
This is the best dream card you can get, like, ever.
That is truly the dream card. As right now, Gnimsh, he doesn't really have any answers whatsoever. He's got an Acolyte of Pain draw, and he can't even really do anything to the Ysera, so that's at least 2 cards for his opponent.
What Gnimsh could do here is Fairy Dragon and Defender of Argus for full value. Yeah, but I don't know, the Ysera is just so threatening, and keep in mind he has a Ysera Awakens in his hand, so
you can
anything he can put on the board here, it doesn't matter at all. That's so insane.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts, and a great start for StrifeCro. Now the Fairy Dragon Argus will give Gnimsh some pretty good board control in terms of these 3 versus 2, but still, the Ysera Awakens can just wipe everything and then immediately give StrifeCro the edge.
Yeah, and now he drew Ancient of War for his turn, just to be completely safe. Like, against a minion-based mage deck, those big taunters are always a pain in the rear end.
You can say it. The booty.
The booty. The big booty.
Ysera Awakens, and Ysera is the only character that doesn't get damage. It hits both the heroes and the minions, and this is really good spot. A second one, a Nightmare, which is, with nothing on the board, can be pretty good as well.
I mean, he has a perfect Nightmare target on the board already with his Harvest Golem, so yeah, Nightmare, like anything. If Gnimsh was to play like anything big, which he doesn't have in his deck, then Nightmare on the Harvest Golem would be a pretty good play.
We need big draws here from Gnimsh if he wants to be able to to come back right now.
Definitely gonna be hard. He has to like hope that StrifeCro doesn't have any heal at his disposal, so he could eventually like draw out a couple of cards with his Acolyte of Pain to draw into Pyroblasts. But he has to get lucky. He has to channel his inner Gnimsh.
Well, we'll see if he's got it. He's thinking about Frostbolting StrifeCro straight in the face.
Yeah, he definitely goes for the burnout plan right now. Like, he knows Ysera, he will never be able to deal with Ysera, so yeah.
Draw as many cards you can. Hopefully you can get the burn cards you need and finish him off.
Exactly.
Now we do know StrifeCro does have a few heals in his deck, and he doesn't know the 2 cards that Gnimsh holds in his hand, and he has been holding that Dark Iron Dwarf for a while, so he could feel like, okay, maybe he has a Pyro next turn, and that's going to start forcing some of his decisions on what he wants to do. He gives Gnimsh another card by killing off that Acolyte with the Harvest Golem, and he now can drop the Ancient of War.
Yeah, like Ancient of War now protects his life total pretty well from, he's going for the attack. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because
oh no, another Ysera Awakens, but that actually puts him in quite a difficult situation. If you use that and you get burned for a big Pyroblast, you might be putting yourself within a dangerous spot.
I mean, it makes sense to put this Ancient of War at 10-5 because Gnimsh indicated that he's not going to be able to deal with minions by burning his face already, and so therefore, like, he's going for the kill.
It also puts lethal on the board, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's going for the kill right now. Next turn, Gnimsh is just going to die unless he deals with this board eventually somehow. So the only way of dealing with the board right now is just one of holding.
Yep, so he has to do something, stall for time, and drop Sylvanas. But Sylvanas, if he suicides it into the Ancient, maybe could get... Oh no, if there's no other minions and he's meant to deal with everything, he can take the Ysera, which would be an interesting turn of events.
He could take the Ysera eventually.
Oh, interesting too that StrifeCro also has a Sylvanas in his hand. And Sylvanas for Sylvanas, which actually is a really funny dynamic.
Yeah, like the interaction is really weird, and from what I've heard, it's like the Sylvanas that dies first. If both Sylvanas were to die at the same time, the Sylvanas that entered play first would actually trigger first. Like,
okay.
So, yeah.
I didn't know that. Now, keeping this in mind, an important card was drawn from StrifeCro. He's starting to get some heals back with that Farseer. Wow, he is really going to go for Sylvanas.
I mean, Farseer is not a healing touch in this position, but it's enough to like put him out of range eventually.
Oh, look at that! Naturalizing, stealing his opponent's Sylvanas.
That's pretty good, but keep in mind, he just gave Gnimsh 2 cards, and those cards could be like 2 Pyroblasts.
Yeah, and those could be the cards he needs. to do something, and StrifeCro is taking such an aggressive position, but once again putting lethal on the board against his opponent.
Yeah, the problem is even if he has like 2 Pyroblasts now, he cannot deal. He has to freeze his board somehow or deal with it in some way. But
maybe a Frost Nova and
this certainly helps. Like the Blizzard is gonna be pretty good right now.
But you would like to do Blizzard and do something else with that mana, but he doesn't really have efficient use of it otherwise.
Yeah, the only thing that you could do here is like Acolyte and Blizzard and eventually draw something. I don't know. Like Gnimsh is pretty dead here. It's like I don't see any scenario where he could win from this board position. Isera just keeps getting card advantage, and it's gonna be over pretty soon.
But still, I mean, we've seen mages be able to keep freezing the board as long as he can keep the draws up. But I'm looking right now at Gnimsh's deck list, and he doesn't really have too many draw options left, so it's gonna come down to the last few.
He already used up one of his Cone of Colds. He is gonna use this Blizzard now, so all he will.
There's only one Blizzard. There's only one Blizzard in his deck.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any Frost Nova either.
Exactly. Like this is not the Giants version of the deck, which runs even more freeze. This is like this deck runs like half the freezes.
Gnimsh is calculating, seeing what he can get away with, but it really just has to be this Blizzard play, and then either use his hero power or drop one of his minions. But even then, if you drop the Acolyte, I mean, you're still going to be drawing cards, hoping for something, but we're going to need to see some good old Gnimsh luck here. Acolyte Pain it is.
Yeah, exactly the play I was mentioning. This is like the only play that eventually might get him somewhere.
And I wonder if there's a way to get lethal on the board. Yeah, and I think if you Nightmare and Ysera, that gives you 10.
This is not enough
14.
right now.
Yeah, unfortunately there's not.
It's 13 damage along with the hero power. Yeah, that's not enough to kill him.
Yeah, so it's almost enough to really threaten him, but still, it's not really worth using all those cards. So instead, StrifeCro thinking about dropping the Sunwalker and just filling out the board, and again, drawing more cards is not
He's just gonna go for a Farseer, healing himself, just
safe
to be
play.
safe.
Safe play.
Playing the taunt just to be safe again. Yeah, dreaming the Acolyte is quite not.
Yeah.
This game's pretty much over. Like
excellent turn from Gnimsh.
Like this game will be over next turn, and with the double Ysera Awakens, it definitely will be over next turn.
Well, there's a Pyroblast a little bit late, and there's no way to kind of give yourself another turn here from Gnimsh, considering that there's a Sunwalker also preventing anything from happening. Gnimsh can go down with a Blaze of Glory by Pyroblasting, but it doesn't really feel like. Oh.
And he finally deals with Ysera.
Yeah.
After Ysera drew him like 5 cards.
The well played gets tossed out. Gnimsh knows this is the final turn, and StrifeCro plays in an excellent game number 1 here in this best of 5 ace match.
GG, well played.
And the turn 5 Ysera drawing, it never died. It drawed him 6 cards, I believe. Something insane like that.
Yeah, that Ysera was like amazing, and we were right to assume that Ysera on turn, like accelerating the Ysera out with a double innervate would be a good play here, simply because Gnimsh has no way to deal with it.
Yeah, so keep in mind, guys, that this series has a lot more than just the pride on the line. As we mentioned at the top of the show, there's money involved. So if Team DogeHouse, the representative of Gnimsh, if their team wins, you guys get $500 in extra. But if StrifeCro wins, then they get $2,500 extra, and so that brings the total to $4,250, if my information is correct.
Yeah, we don't really care about the money in this spot. All we want to be is like the misers, just to take money away from the opponent team, because there's pride on the line, and they really hurt our pride by screwing with us.
So you guys brought the mascot out today in full force.
Oh yeah,
Team DogeHouse.
The doggy, very brave, but well, he's awesome.
If you're losing, you go have him bite StrifeCro's cords, yeah? Unplug the power.
Actually,
yeah, we go for the jugular here.
This one?
So from this point, Gnimsh has 2 more decks at his disposal. He has a Paladin deck and a Warlock deck. Which do you think he should start?
In my opinion, the Druid is pretty hard to deal with for the Warlock. Or maybe not actually. Warlock is probably the best choice, because you can overwhelm the board pretty quickly, and Druid has no good AoE. The only thing that Druid can do against the Warlock is the Ancient Watchers.
Yeah.
Give the Ancient Watchers taunt,
Soak up a lot of
have a
damage.
massive meat shield against those early attackers. It's pretty hard to do. Like usually Soulfire deals with anything your opponent can put out at the early game, but unfortunately Ancient Watcher has 5 health, so Soulfire doesn't really work well against that. And the Paladin deck, I feel like it's a little bit too slow, but it can definitely get the job done.
Yeah, we've seen Paladin do very well, in fact, overall against all kinds of decks so far in this first run of the Fight Night. And I'm really looking forward to see what happens. The timer has finished, so we're getting ready for game number 2 between Gnimsh and StrifeCro. All right, so game number 2 between StrifeCro and Gnimsh is about to be underway. Gnimsh needs to start winning now because going down 0-2 makes you only have 1 deck left to play against all 3 of your opponents. Let's find out what happens. It's Warlock going to be the second choice for Gnimsh. Just like you said.
Yeah,
Sick prediction skills.
Warlock has to be the choice here. Just hoping he would overwhelm the Druid with this early game. But yeah, Ancient Watcher getting... StrifeCro gets rid of everything except for the Ancient Watcher, which is obviously the solid play here. Going for that Ancient Watcher taunt.
Wow.
But unfortunately he doesn't have any Sunfury Protectors in his hand yet.
We did see Gnimsh throw out a Threaten, but he doesn't know StrifeCro muted him, so he can't really see it. Oh wow, Gnimsh trying to toss up the trash talk, but doesn't even know StrifeCro doesn't have ears.
Yeah, this is like one of the best openings you can have as a Warlock. Maybe it's even one of the best openings in the whole game.
What's your opinion, by the way, on the Flame Imp doing 3 damage? Do you feel like it impacts a significant amount or just very small?
It's just really small in my opinion. Like it doesn't matter that much.
Well, we'll see if it does end up coming to play, because for anybody who might be tuning in for the first time for Hearthstone and not really knowing, the Flame Imp does 3 damage to your hero, but it used to do 2. And Blizzard felt like, that's not really that good of a trade-off. 1 mana for a 3/2 creature and only doing 2 damage to yourself when this one can do a lot. It's not really that fair of a trade-off.
Yeah, Gnimsh putting down the pressure, having 2 solid minions in the first 2 turns, along with the Blood Imp, that's like perfect. Very hard to deal with for the Druid in the early game.
So from here, Gnimsh, he has the option to take out the Novice. And he also can just go straight for the Druid. And I feel like in the end that's the slightly better choice.
Definitely go for face here, because the Druid doesn't run anything to buff his minions except a Defender of Argus. And this is not going to come down this turn.
He hasn't seen any Shattered Sun Cleric in any of StrifeCro's games, so he knows that he doesn't have that. And now StrifeCro has the option to drop a Harvest Golem. But that doesn't really improve his position too much because Harvest Golem 2/3 is pretty weak against this board because normally he would be able to trade with it, but that Blood Imp is adding an additional health.
Harvest Golem is definitely the right play here, simply because it always will leave 1 minion behind. He will probably not even bother attacking the Harvest Golem. So next turn he will be able to Ancient Watcher, Innervate, and Defender of Argus, so just to have an Ancient Watcher, a 5/6 Ancient Watcher with taunt, along with another taunter that was left behind on the board.
Yes, and now, we have an Ironbeak Owl also in the hand of Gnimsh. You can silence the Harvest Golem if he so desires, or you can use a Demon Fire, which is also a really good card on that Flame Imp, making it a 5/5 and pretty intimidating to deal with early on.
Oh yeah, that Flame Imp can get huge and be a big attacker. The problem is what Gnimsh doesn't know, that StrifeCro has Silence in his hand with the Keeper of the Grove to counteract that Demon Fire maybe, but StrifeCro will probably just go with the play that I mentioned before the next turn. Right now though, I don't know what the right play would be. It could be.
I do think well, yeah, again, because he knows. First of all, that Ironbeak Owl can be really useful later in the game because he knows what the Druid can throw out. And then, so you might want to keep that. And then that means like a Demon Fire play or Argent Squire play might be better. But if he wants to silence and take board control, he can also do that.
He could like trade all he could kill off all of
his opponent's minions.
Yeah, he could kill all StrifeCro's minions and just have a huge board.
Yeah,
And
uses
he
blood
goes
in
for it.
part of that as well. But he chooses to silence the Harvest Golem instead and gain big full control and uses a Soulfire instead.
I don't agree on the Soulfire play though. Like he could have just run his minions into them.
And save the Soulfire for something else when he really needs to. But at the same time, he's using this opportunity to seize board control, which is, as much as StrifeCro has a card advantage, if he's got no presence on the board, it's going to be tough to kind of pull everything out.
I mean, we know how the next turn is gonna.
Yeah, the Ancient Watcher into Innervate.
Exactly. Like we know how it's gonna unfold here. Oh, is that swipe gonna do anything? Not really, because the Blood Imp just saves all those minions.
It does kill the Blood Imp, which is pretty annoying to deal with, but that's not really what you want to use Swipe for at the moment. But Swipe is actually one of the best AoE cards at clearing stuff like this against Warlock.
So yeah, the fact that nothing got left behind on the board makes the Ancient Watcher Defender of Argus Innervate play slightly worse. So he might go for something else here. He might go for Keeper of the Grove, just getting rid of the Flame Imp. Or I don't think the swipe actually does anything unless he really wants to get rid of this Blood Imp.
Yeah, because the Fairy Dragon still is up there and you use all your mana. You're going to take big damage next turn anyways.
Oh, but he decides to go for the Defender of Argus play anyway. Not full value, but yeah, it gets the job done. Like he has to run both 2 minions into the Ancient Watcher to get rid of it.
Oh, unless he gets this, a Power Overwhelming.
Oh yeah, Power Overwhelming on this Owl will do serious work right now.
Yeah, now that's a value Owl. He also uses Life Tap as well if he gets a better card. Ooh, and a Shadow Flame, so we can even deal with...
Shadow Flame is very good in combination with Power Overwhelming here, so it might be a consideration not to use Power Overwhelming here, but however, he wants to go for some damage here, so he has to run his Owl into that.
Alright. And then, does he trade with the Argus, or does he just ignore it and go for face again?
It's certainly better to ignore it, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because we already saw one Defender of Argus. Like, it's always good to trade if you know your opponent plays a lot of buff minions that can like screw you over in terms of trading. But we know that StrifeCro only has 2 Defender of Argus to buff minions, and one is already done.
He doesn't have things like the Sun Clerics or the Dark Iron Dwarves. And so with that, again, board control goes to the Warlock, and this is what Gnimsh wants. Not too many answers in his hand just yet. He does have a Harvest Golem, which he can toss out with his Hero Power and maybe disable Divine Shield. That's pretty much the only play I really see that's viable right now for StrifeCro.
Yeah, that's exactly what he does. Like it's also using mana to full advantage, so he can play a 4-drop and Hero Power again next turn.
Nice, a Voidwalker, which is really cheap. Oh, and a Shattered Sun Cleric, which is good. Excellent card.
Yeah, Shattered Sun Cleric is pretty good here. He can get rid of the Harvest Golem if he wants to by Shattered Sun Clericing his Fairy Dragon, and then running the Argent Squire into the remaining damage Golem.
This is always one of the fun parts of Hearthstone. Which minion am I actually buffing?
Yeah, you know, those placement bugs don't actually matter if you just target one. If you have one target, but if you have a Defender of Argus in your hand, then it matters. But
or a Sun Fury Protector.
You know how it is, guys.
Yeah.
It's a beta. It's still in beta, this game, so they have to get rid of all those bugs first before they release it.
Sunwalker is been drawn, which is a very powerful card. And in the end, StrifeCro's thinking about all the trades he can make with his Harvest Golem.
Sunwalker is so hard to deal with for the Warlock, unless Warlock has Silence. However, the Silence, one Silence already is gone.
Yep. And he does have another Ironbeak Owl, but he needs to top deck it right now, some Gnimsh skills.
Yeah.
As you can, I think he's definitely going to try to go for a Life Tap here.
Oh yeah, because playing Shadow Flame here doesn't make sense, in my opinion. So yeah, I think what he has to do here is, it's actually kind of hard.
Yeah, this is a tough decision of, you can pass the turn, but then you know turn 7 is where Druids start getting pretty nuts with some of their drops.
So the options here are play 2 Voidwalkers and pass to save those bigger minions, the 4/4 and the 3/3, or play Harvest Golem and Voidwalker to get full advantage out of your mana. However, if you do that, then Voidwalker is going to die pretty easily to the hero power and the Harvest Golem, and then Sunwalker can just trade away one of those big minions anyway. So there's also an option to run the Blood Imp, to just sacrifice the Blood Imp now, just to pop the Divine Shield. Not sure how good that one is though.
Yeah, because then it makes the Sun Cleric. Well, yeah, you can actually always lose the Sun Cleric to a hero power plus the Harvest Golem anyways. But I think, yeah, proccing the shield and then trying to draw away attention from this as soon as possible. Passing the turn seems to be what Gnimsh is going to do.
Passing the turn is right here because he doesn't want to sacrifice 2 big minions into the Sunwalker. Druid of the Claw has been drawn for StrifeCro here.
But he still has an Ancient of Lore, which he can play. And a 5/5 minion is pretty intimidating for the Warlock to deal with, especially since he still has to go through the Sunwalker.
Oh yeah, like what's always what StrifeCro has to consider here is how good is swipe. Like in every situation that the board is gonna change all the time, and in every situation you have to like consider how good is swipe here. It seems though that swipe is not good in this situation particularly, so he might go for something else. Ancient of Lore would probably be used to heal himself, just because I don't see a reason to draw more cards. He's not going to play his whole hand anyway, so healing himself just to be safe might be an option here.
Yeah, but we have seen StrifeCro do pretty crazy things for the sake of card advantage. He's really flirting with the idea with the Ancient of Lore. I mean,
he could also just go for the play that I alluded to in the previous turn. Go for the hero power plus Harvest Golem attacking the Voidwalker, so Sunwalker can get rid of something big.
Ah, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
And he's going for the cat advantage. He doesn't care about his hit point at all.
So I'm saying, man, StrifeCro really wants the cards. He's a pretty greedy player. He was telling us in his interviews that he loves being greedy. And he's also a Zerg player in StarCraft 2, which is a race known to be very greedy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Alright, so going to Gnimsh's turn, number 7. Pretty critical one because it starts getting to the juncture where it's difficult for Warlocks to start dealing with Druids who can toss out big minions. Because removal is not really that prominent in his deck, is it?
Wait.
As we look at the deck lists.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so like he would really love to clear the board with a Shadow Flame. However, there's like only one power warning in this deck, and he already played it, unfortunately. So Shadow Flame's not gonna be that good. It unfortunately doesn't work with the.
And he drew the Blood Knight a little bit too late as well, because he used a life tap, and if he had the opportunity, the Blood Knight Shadow Flame combination would have done everything.
No, the Blood Knight unfortunately doesn't do really that much. Because he doesn't get bigger. He doesn't pop any shields.
Well, I was saying if he somehow drew it earlier, I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then having a 6/6 on the board would have been really nice. But instead, now Gnimsh is gonna go for the trade instead. Drop another Harvest Golem as well as his Voidwalker, so now tossing it back over to StrifeCro, but StrifeCro has gotten away with his greed and now has some pretty good options at his disposal.
Oh yeah, what he could do is just make all the taunts in the world. He has like Druid of the Claw, and even if he doesn't, and all those minions that don't have taunt, he can just give a taunt with Sunfury Protector and Defender of Argus, so his hit points will be safe.
He's got taunts on taunts and even a silence, which is something that he's already implemented before, both for player to player and game to game. Now, StrifeCro is going to drop this Defender of Argus and potentially trade with the Voidwalker. Very nice.
StrifeCro is going to go on the offense here with the 6/6 taunter. Like, there's nothing that can stop him here.
Yeah, there's just what really is in the deck of the Warlock that can stop it. Druid's just so intimidating late game.
Yeah, if you don't finish the game quickly with Warlock, it's gonna get pretty hard against the Druid, that's for sure.
And a Sunfury Protector as well.
Just for good measure to have another taunt.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You don't really have to use your swipe or your Keeper of the Grove just yet. And it gives him more flexibility. And once again, lethal is on the board.
The Keeper of the Grove and the swipe in hand just to eventually burn him out.
Not looking good for Gnimsh. he can't really, I mean, he might have to life tap here for other options, but he doesn't really have a way to fully clear. His Harvest Golems are too weak for a Shadow Flame.
Exactly, like the Shadow Flame, in hindsight, the power overwhelming should have been kept for the Shadow Flame. But yeah, like Shadow Flame is completely useless right now, unfortunately, because of the fact that power overwhelming got used on this Owl.
He can try to trade his Harvest Golems and use the Shadow Flame on one of his minions, try to weaken it in this scenario. Yep. And so he kills everything except for the Ancient of Lore. But again, this is definitely not what Gnimsh wanted in this position.
Yeah, exactly. Like Swipe is gonna be big, you know.
Swipe and then Druid of the Claw can be just brings it down to 3 health.
Where shall I strike?
And then StrifeCro will just have another lethal on the board with 2.
Yeah, he can innervate hero power just to prevent life tapping.
Wow. Yeah, just for the hell of it, and then put up. He has Keeper of the Grove. 2 of them you can get that.
Yeah, this game is over now. There's nothing that Gnimsh
There's
can
no
do.
heal in Gnimsh's deck, is there?
No. And even if there was heal, like the heal that Warlock has at his disposal potentially is not enough to.
It's like what is it?
It's like he can like heal. He can like heal 3 at best.
Look at that. He's gonna give +2 attack for it, and also life tap himself to death.
Yeah, the YOLO tap.
Yeah. And Gnimsh drops the second set. StrifeCro goes up 2-0 in his best of 5 and puts Gnimsh on his last life.
Very good.
Wow.
For the opponent team.
Impressive Druid play, and we've been expecting Mage dominance, but once more we see Druid reign supreme.
Yeah, that Druid deck is definitely a strong one. I mean, Druid is definitely a force to be reckoned with in the current meta game, that's for sure.
The doggies disapprove.
I mean, we've seen Druid dominate throughout the whole tournament so far, so Druid is definitely going strong.
And it was a long time Druids were actually pretty good in the very beginning, but then Priests started becoming more prominent with their little buff, and people started paying attention to Mind Control. But now that Mind Control is 10 mana, we don't really see it that often.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Priest just got weakened way too much with Mind Control costing 10, making the Druid deck the control deck of choice. Also, the fact that Healing Touch is actually a better heal spell than any heal spell that Priest has at its disposal is also a huge factor, because like Priest can only heal, the most Priest can heal with 1 spell is 5 with the Holy Fire.
Yep.
And yeah, Druid just heals 8 for half the cost.
Which is kind of funny considering Priest is oriented around healing with his hero power.
Exactly. Like, the healing certainly plays a big role against Mage, because Mage was definitely the strongest deck going into this tournament, and people were looking to counter Mages, and Druid was
seems like
the best counter.
Every deck is kind of tweaked to be able to fight Mages in some regards, but we haven't seen the Mages come out in full force just yet, compared to the way StrifeCro's been playing his Druid, compared to the way Monk's been playing his Druid. And so now we come down to Gnimsh's last deck, which is a Paladin. Paladin deck versus Druid. How do you think it's going to match up?
Oh, the Paladin matchup against Druid is very weird. It all comes down to the equalities, though. The equalities are the MVPs against Druid. Druid relies on winning with big minions, and equality just makes them so small that they can just get rid of those big minions with a 1/1 Silverhand recruit from the hero power. Also, like, the big play is obviously equality consecration, which just gets rid of everything on the opposing board, clearing the way for your minions to attack space. However, that also can like leave your minions vulnerable to swipes.
All right, well, we'll see what's going to happen in game number 3. It's all on the line here for Team DogeHouse. Will they go out 1-4? And will StrifeCro be able to close it out? We'll find out right here. Gnimsh doesn't look very nervous.
No, Gnimsh is relaxed. Gnimsh told me earlier that he's in the comfort zone when he's playing here, unlike other players on our team.
That's good though, because you perform your best when you're most comfortable. You don't feel pressured that you have to do, because again, sometimes when you have that pressure, you miss opportunities. Like yesterday, Artosis was saying he was focused so much on what was going on the board, he forgot he had lethal for one turn.
Yeah.
And then 2 turns later, he ended up killing anyways, but still, there was an opportunity there.
Like for some of us, or for most of us actually, this is like so different to what we are used to. Like we are used to do stuff on at home, being in our comfort zone, like whatever, playing in our boxer shorts and stuff like that.
From the top half, you have to be well dressed, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, this is something completely different, and playing in front of this many viewers, we know the viewers are there, even though they're not technically here, not the live audience, but yeah, the viewers will be watching this, and we feel the pressure.
All right, well, the pressure is on for Gnimsh, but he doesn't feel it. We'll see if his cards can follow suit. This is game number 3 here at Fight Night.
Uther versus Malfurion.
Here we go, game number 3. Uther versus Malfurion.
I will fight with
Yeah,
honor.
I will fight with honor.
I must protect the wild.
Very nice, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah, I got my impressions down for sure.
Oh, sweet.
And this is all on the line right now. This Paladin deck has to pull off a 3-0, or else it's going to be a total shame for Team DogeHouse, unfortunately.
You can though. Paladin decks are pretty powerful and they're very versatile. We've seen it defeat all kinds of decks, aggressive. We've even seen it beat the mage decks.
Paladin, like the mage aggro deck, can pull off victories against anything. It just, I think it just depends on the draw, and how like being on the coin is so good for the for this particular version of the Paladin deck, because you can just sort of justice up, and the druid doesn't have anything to deal with the sort of justice, so all your minions just get so huge. It's too hard to deal with them.
I remember people used to run oozes all the time because of the weapons, but that's also fallen out of favor because they've discovered other better 2-drops.
Yeah, exactly. Like the weapon-based classes are pretty weak right now. Rogue was popular recently, but has fallen down because people figured out the power level of Rogue doesn't match up to the power level of the other classes. Warrior is just pretty shitty for right now. Ever since Artosis won with my famous Warrior deck.
Yeah. How did you
like
feel, by the way, when he used the Grommash plus the inner fire?
Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. That was the dream.
But
it was
yeah,
like
Warrior
perfectly on turn 8.
Ever since then, Warrior has been so bad. Like people have to, someone has to figure out a good Warrior build. But I don't think there's anything possible right now in the current metagame.
It's tough because it just feels like with all Warrior spells, you want to kind of do enrage tactics or something along those lines, but you sacrifice some of your own HP, and with the way buffing works, it really feels like you get the worst build. And so now we have turn 4 with the sort of just as buffing the Harvest Golem for Gnimsh, which gives him a big edge. But we do have a Keeper of the Grove that could silence everything and kind of reset that down.
Yeah, that's definitely an option here, but there's like nothing to follow up on this.
All right, so now that we have that, would you go for the Keeper of the Grove, or would you try to, I mean, StrifeCro is also known to be pretty greedy. He can Keeper of the Grove and then innervate and draw a card with a Novice Engineer, but I feel like saving the innervate for something else is a better play.
There's the option of Keeper of the Groving and silencing the Harvest Golem, which is probably the best right now. Simply using the mana to advantage and not leaving behind any damaged golems. And he goes for the innervate plus 0 power just to keep the board clear, which is fine in this situation, I think. Because he doesn't have any big minions to innervate into.
Alright, so now we have Gnimsh drawing a card, and it's going to be the Argent Protector. He does have the equality, but there's no way he can kind of answer that directly. He has buff minions and a Harvest Golem.
Like the equality has to be saved for bigger minions like Isera, Ragnaros, Ancient of Wars, stuff like that. So we won't see equality play until like later turns.
So I'm guessing he can go for the token plus the Argent Protector if he wants to use good mana, or I guess a Harvest Golem if he still wants to push something out. But again, it's really annoying for Gnimsh to have to deal with this when he got the coin sort of just out so early, and the Harvest Golem was immediately dealt with.
Yeah, the problem is even if he plays Harvest Golem here, it's not gonna farewell against the board that StrifeCro has right now. The Harvest Golem is just going to die, and Gnimsh has nothing to play with along with the Harvest Golem. However, token plus Divine Shield doesn't make much sense either, even though it's a better use of mana.
And so now StrifeCro can answer. He gets a Defender of Argus drop, which is excellent. He can buff his minions if he so desires, as well as finish it off with Claw if he wants to kind of mix in some damage in that regard as well.
Or he could go for... what could he do here? Like, yeah, Defender of Argus is probably the safest play. Like, Defender of Argus in 2 minions is always worth doing, I think, if you have the opportunity to do it. Interesting though that he decides to go for the damage for the Golem here, because in my opinion he could have also just smashed some damage into Gnimsh's face.
It's interesting because you say this, we say this quite often, but North America seems to be more emphasis on the trading, and Europe seems to be really aggressive. Sometimes just saying, if I really feel like that card's not a threat, I can just go for the face. North America seems to try to trade a lot all the time.
Yeah, trading is definitely in place when board advantage is all you have to worry about. When you see life totals, like when you want to go for the face, you generally want to go for the face when life totals are in reach of burn or something like this. When you play mage or rogue or something bursty.
Sylvanas has been drawn now for Gnimsh. What do you think about Sylvanas in this position? Do you think it's the clear-cut play, or is it something else, like maybe the token Sun Cleric?
Token Sun Cleric is definitely an okay play here, because this will end up as a board position where both minions will trade for both minions, and if you play Sylvanas on this board, it's just going to die to the both minions, and the death rattle will be wasted. And eventually you want to just have a Sylvanas with Defender of Argus, I think.
Yeah, or even the Sylvanas against some of the bigger minions that Druid has, and you can use it.
Yeah, exactly. Like
against him.
Once StrifeCro drops an Ancient of War, Sylvanas is like the best counter to it.
Well, now we have a Farseer going to drop for the Keeper of the Grove that's been buffed, and use it to restore back to full health, and as a result, StrifeCro gets even more value out of that Centaur.
Yeah, like this Earthling Farseer is very good in Druid, because not only you can put yourself out of reach of mage burns, you can just heal your minions as well, because they will always be so big, and surprise the opponent by doing favorable trades.
While putting a minion on the board.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It's a very underrated card. I think people are seeing more merits to it now that we're seeing more other cards of play, or other styles of play. 6 mana, and we have an Argent Commander drop here from Gnimsh.
Yeah, this is the only viable play here, in my opinion. I don't think any other play would have been good here, especially with the mana efficiency.
StrifeCro can drop Nov's Engineer number 2 and get a Harvest Golem in response.
StrifeCro is still looking for something big here. I mean, he's going to be able to deal with his Argent Commander easily, but right now what he has on the board is not that exciting, to be honest. He's going to need something big eventually here.
Well, he does have an Innervate if he needs to push something out, but it's already getting to that mana point where it doesn't really matter.
Exactly, like Innervate is just a dead card right now. Innervate is supposed to be used in the early game, if unless you have some stuff to make synergy with this Innervate, like get an Auctioneer, then it doesn't matter.
So we do have a Sword of Justice from Gnimsh. He puts out a 2/2 token, and he also can go for an Argent Protector if he so desires. 3/2 or 3/3. 3/3 with Divine Shield, as well as a 3/3 minion, or 2/3. I'm getting confused with the buffs, man.
Yeah, once the Sword of Justice is in play, like you kind of
start forgetting everything. It's kind of like the Stormwind Champion element as well. Like I used to get really excited when I saw Stormwind, or I saw Consecration equality opportunities when the opponent would have like a Stormwind Champion. Like, yes, I get to clear everything. And then the first time I did it, I realized it sets it at 1 and then +1/+1.
Yeah.
And then I didn't clear anything, and I was like, so sad.
He has the option of playing Keeper of the Grove and just dealing 2 in the face, but I don't think he wants to do that. I think he wants to keep it as removal against some minions, which is probably better, just to keep board control. Like, dealing 2 into the Paladin with the Keeper of the Grove right now doesn't really provide much.
Alright, so silencing
But
his Ancient
oh
Watcher.
yeah, I totally didn't see
Yeah,
that.
you can have a 4/5 minion on the board. And now it's starting to get a little bit dicey here for Gnimsh.
I mean, silencing it right now didn't really accomplish much because the Ancient Watcher just entered play. However, he did it just to put some more pressure on the board along with this 2/4 just to have more damage threatening. However, now that he didn't surprise him with this silence on the Ancient Watcher, Gnimsh used his what's it called, Auto Peacekeeper to
pacify it immediately.
Yeah, exactly. Like if he didn't play the silence on that turn, he wouldn't have played the Aldor Peacekeeper on this Ancient Watcher, I think.
He uses his weapon to take out the Hearth Golem. I thought he was going to try to do the defender play, but in hindsight, it's nice to kind of clear out that death rattle ability and get some board presence. Wow, yet another draw that's a low minion.
Yeah, I mean, but in this situation, it's pretty good. Like, Defender of Argus makes the Ancient Watcher viable again. A minion with 2/6 stats is somewhat good against what Gnimsh has here. He's trying to figure out the perfect positioning for this Defender of Argus right now. He has to consider his hero power as well, this additional damage of his hero power. So just right now, he's just doing his math how to effectively buff his minions. So he will have the better board.
Where would you put the Argus in this position?
I'm thinking about it right now.
Well met.
He definitely wants to pop off that shield.
Obviously he has to, yeah, like popping the shield with the 1 damage thingy is priority right now.
And drop it, and you kind of want the Ancient Watcher to get the taunt too, but he can, if he doesn't want his 2/1.
So I would probably put it, in between. Yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter where he put it because he had to put it in between a 3 power guy and the 1 power guy anyway.
Okay. Also, as a result, StrifeCro now has the board presence as well with slightly better position. And now the draw here from Gnimsh, a Fairy Dragon. I don't know if that's going to be able to help him too much here.
I mean, Sylvanas Fairy Dragon plus token just to apply some pressure is a good play here. I think he will be forced to run everything he has into Sylvanas if he even has the means to deal with it.
Still makes him also cautious next turn to drop something really big.
Exactly. Like right now, if he drops the Sylvanas, StrifeCro doesn't have anything on the board to deal with it, but he might draw something or have something in his hand already to be able to finish the Sylvanas off, so the Death Rattle will be wasted again.
Crucial turn here coming up for StrifeCro. We'll see what he drops in response to the Sylvanas play in round number 9. And here we go. A Druid of the Claw. And you're right, I mean, this Innervate is just essentially dead because usually you don't see Druids able to play their hands entirely, but this is exactly what he's been able to do.
But
and
the Druid of the Claw was the exact draw that he needed to finish off Sylvanas without Death Rattle doing anything here.
It's very nice. Druid of the Claw, a swipe or something along those lines would have been really good. And now, Sylvanas has been down. That's 1 less threat that he has to worry about. True Silver Champion.
Yeah, True Silver Champion, and now he has to consider if he wants to attack, because there's definitely the option of just saving the True Silver, simply because Druid has healing, and if he heals, if he uses the weapon as burn, like Pyroblast for example, then healing will just counter it straight up. So this healing touch is not a death card anymore.
Yep. And so that's going to give him essentially what it is, 222 health at the moment. But StrifeCro, I mean, do you use it now? I mean, use it now or do you use it later? You never know if you need it later.
I mean, he has to consider what the Paladin could have to kill the Druid instantly, like Avenging Wrath, something like that. But if they did their research, they know that this Paladin list doesn't run Avenging Wrath. So, yeah, he doesn't have to be afraid of those.
Alright, well instead we see an Aldor Peacekeeper drawn, and I think he wants to, he could save it for a big minion that inevitably comes out. while still having some board presence and
He
slowly
doesn't.
but surely
He
tipping
should
away.
probably play this Aldo Peacekeeper because anything big he can put out, he can just equality away.
That's true. Yeah. And again force his opponent to kind of react to that, and he'll probably force a healing touch soon.
I mean,
from StrifeCro.
in this late game situation where all you can do is like put 1/1s into play, Aldo Peacekeeper is not going to do anything because no matter how big the minion is, it's still going to trade your 1/1s away even after your Peacekeeper.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point.
So actually, I would play this Peacekeeper here and then have equality with bigger minions. So that's what Gnimsh is doing here.
Gnimsh gonna put the Peacekeeper, 5 damage on the board, not quite the lethal, but you never know what he draws next. Oh, and a huge swipe draw.
Yep.
For StrifeCro.
That basically sealed the deal. I mean, not really because StrifeCro still has to draw something big, but it's gonna get there eventually. Like he still has all the big stuff in his deck, so
he still has his Sylvanas, 2 Sunwalkers, Ancient of Wars, Ragnaros,
both Ancient of
Sarah.
Wars and Ancient of Lore too.
Yeah, there's a lot that he still has to do, but a big draw here from Gnimsh as well. Guardian of Kings is an excellent draw.
And there's the Big Daddy Raggy.
Big Daddy Raggy, the Fire Lord, has arrived. Now StrifeCro, he could take out the Silver Hand Knight and try to lower the chances. This could be the big moment, but if he doesn't land on the Guardian of Kings, how much does that matter?
It's kind of risky because he could have. There is theoretically a way to deal lethal here. But unfortunately for Gnimsh, he hits the Guardian, so
wow,
it's pretty much over now.
That's really tough. And Gnimsh even throws out the well played, recognizing that there's almost nothing he could have done in that situation.
Yeah, and this is gonna be this certainly looks like a 3-0 sweep once again. Team
Now
DogeHouse
it starts
lucky.
stacking. Sunwalker's out, Argent Protector is down, and he can even pop the Divine Shield. The Ragnaros, what's it gonna hit? It doesn't really matter, does it? Oh, it hits face.
I mean, even with the equality now, Sunwalker just protects the Ragnaros so well. So it won't matter at all, unfortunately.
He could equality choose Silver Champion and take out the Sunwalker.
He had to draw Consecration here to clear the board.
Unfortunately, he doesn't get the draw he needs. Gnimsh's luck might have ran out. Not in the nick of time.
Equality definitely has to be played here.
Yeah. And clear the Sunwalker from it, but still, really tough pill to swallow. It's not over just yet, but it's looking grim for our last remaining player from Team DogeHouse.
Yeah, he doesn't have lethal yet, but next turn is probably gonna be enough to finish Gnimsh off.
Wow, StrifeCro's still unwilling to play his healing touch even if he doesn't need to. And Guardian of Kings will restore health up to
10?
11?
11, yeah.
But that's not going to be enough to stop the damage because StrifeCro should be able to deal with it. He can change the health to all 1, but then he reduces health to 1 himself.
Yeah, Gnimsh was just hoping for a Consecration. He didn't see one of his 2 Consecrations all game, so yeah, that's pretty unlucky. But it's just as unlucky that StrifeCro didn't draw any big minions up until now.
StrifeCro coming through in the clutch for his team as he's won his series for the regular match as well as looking in prime position to take this last ace match and earn his team 2,500 to make it to 4,250. Not bad for a series of Hearthstone games, would you say?
Yeah, that Druid definitely going strong. I mean, that's the force to be reckoned with.
All right, so the equality is going to be played. And that means he probably will end up attacking the Sunwalker. Doesn't really do much. He's gonna have 3 health left. And the Guardian of Kings will eventually come out. And now it's all StrifeCro's ball game as he has every single reason.
Now Gnimsh is actually wishing that StrifeCro hits the Guardian of Kings with his with his Ragnaros because he will die.
Yeah, I mean, StrifeCro should be able to deal with it. He's going to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, I mean, the health is not
what he is,
necessarily,
yeah.
he's got the healing touch.
He got the healing touch. He'll be alright, and he even has an innervate if he wants to drop out something else as well.
Yeah, healing touch just for good measure here.
Here we go, one more wheel spin. Will this be the Ragnaros that finishes the game?
It
It
is.
will be, because it's been that kind of game for StrifeCro. Congratulations to other team no name yet.
Yeah, congratulations.
StrifeCro wins
Definitely well played from all the members of Team No Name yet. And yeah, I mean, those players are to be respected, definitely, with the exception of Trump, maybe.
Oh, you still have yet to play Trump, the grudge match.
Yeah, it might happen eventually, but we will see.
Well, I
It's
would
all
love
up to
for
the
it to
wheel of RNG, am I right?
Yeah, well, maybe you can practice a few times, maybe off camera, see if you can get the spin correctly. Maybe ask Artosis if you can spin instead. But maybe we can see that match.
Yeah, we will see.
All right, so any thoughts about the overall series from StrifeCro and Gnimsh, do you feel?
Oh yeah, I think StrifeCro played very, very well. All the plays that he did, I would have done probably the same thing. And Gnimsh, yeah, Gnimsh had to be Gnimsh, had to get lucky. I think he was like kind of not favorable in this matchup, especially since StrifeCro opened with Druid, which is a hard counter to Mage, even if you're playing aggressive Mage. So yeah, it was really hard from get-go, and so Druid continued to, after the first game, Druid continued to dominate, but because Mage is Gnimsh's strongest class, and after that got taken out, then it was kind of easy for StrifeCro.
Yeah, pretty shaky foundation from Gnimsh from the get-go, and StrifeCro was able to capitalize perfectly. Great decision-making from him overall, and congratulations once again to other team no name yet. All right, guys, we had a lot of fun here at our fight night. Now it's time for the check presentation. For Team DogeHouse, we have 250. Ladies. Congratulations. And with a 4-1 victory, the other team no name yet gets 4,250. Congratulations. Dude, congrats. How you feeling about your win?
I'm feeling great. We took it 4-1, pretty convincing, and I look forward to when we rematch next.
All right, cool. Can you tell us a little about your experience of what it's like being here and competing?
This experience was awesome. The production was really great. Everyone was really professional. We had a blast here, and we definitely come back if invited next time.
Awesome, cool. Thanks so much for joining us, man. Congratulations, dude. How you feeling about the win?
Feeling great about the win. Took the ace match 3-0, and we were winning 3-1 before that, so we won 4-1. That's great.
You won 4,250. Is this the most you've ever won in a competition before?
This is the most I ever won. Before I came here, I thought it was in US dollars, but it's in euros, so it's even more than that for me. So,
what's the experience been like so far for you?
The experience has been great. Like, everything's been going very smooth, like, you know, getting rides everywhere, going out to eat, and everything like that, so it's been good.
Awesome. Do you have any final words or shoutouts?
No shoutouts. I'm just a casual player.
All right. Well, thank you so much, StrifeCro, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Krip, on your win. How you feeling so far?
Feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, winning's nice, as it turns out.
Have you ever won this much money playing a competition before?
I don't really play in competitions, so this is the only money I've ever won in competition.
Well, so now you can consider yourself a pro gamer.
What an honor.
Awesome. Do you have any final shoutouts and thank yous?
I don't know, let's see. Thanks to the crew for putting up with my sleeping and eating habits. And thanks to StrifeCro for humbling the other team. And yeah.
All right, well, congratulations, and we'll see you next time. Cool.
Cool.
Trump, congratulations. You didn't win a game, but your team managed to pull it off. How you feeling overall?
I'm feeling great. Feels great to win and not win myself because I have such reliable teammates.
Well, I'm sure you guys have a great rapport. Can you talk a little bit about the team feeling at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. So over here, the bonds created by teamwork and friendship from crafting and talking about decks together is unbreakable and will last forever.
What are you gonna do with some of the money that you've won?
I'm gonna put it into I'm gonna invest it.
All right, sounds a smart idea to me. Do you have any final words and shoutouts?
Yeah, thanks a lot to all the people who watch me normally at Twitch over at TrumpSC, and thank you, Razer, for sponsoring me to do events such as this and other ones.
Cool, thank you so much and good luck next time. Maybe you can win one.
Absolutely.
And of course, big shout out to Team Liquids, the site I work at, and we always produce great Hearthstone articles, and you should definitely check them out.
All right, well, cool. Thanks very much, Monk, and we'll see you next time. So there you have it. Other team no name yet takes the series 4-1 in our first ever Hearthstone event at ESGN TV. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Special thanks to Artosis who helped plan the format and the event. Hope to see you guys next time. This is Frodan, signing out.